rebooting it right now. It's not doing so well. My new tablet, I'm on the Surface Pro 3. I got that yesterday with part of my Jeep sales, so I have something better to edit with.
Well, that's good.
But my laptop is pretty much dead.
So a new laptop may be in the works for you.
Oh, well, that's what I got the tablet for, to replace it. It's a lot lighter weight and easier to pack. So, let's see if this one melts whenever I move it. Try this fun little experiment.
So you said you got some new toys. What'd you get?
Yep. Well, like I said, I'm on the Surface Pro 3, which is my new tablet, and I was figuring out how to use that whenever you called earlier, so I didn't have a chance.
Okay.
But
Hi, guys.
Check it out, Jess. I got the 100 to 400 Mark II.
How you liking it?
Well, I've already been called a creeper and a weird stalker, so apparently it's working for me.
It's not the camera.
Yeah, no, I know. It fits me, though.
Okay, so I figured I don't have another critique until about 3:30 with Monica, so I thought I'd just hop on for half an hour with you guys, and you can bring images, you can talk to me about what you're doing, we can just have a conversation, we can drink live on the air, whatever you're in the mood for.
I might be pretty quiet, Jess. I'm sitting at work, but I wanted to just check in with everybody.
Okay. What do you do?
Well, for the moment, I'm inside sales for a software company, so.
Cool. I like the incognito. I can get down with it. Hi, Michael.
Hey. How are you guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're doing good. Where are you?
I'm in the middle of the ocean again.
Yeah. I think you're the only...
buffing winds out here at the moment. We're having a bit of a storm front go through. It's about 90 km/h winds outside, and the rig's moving around a bit, so I'm a bit amazed that we've got internet at all, but I'm here.
That's awesome. Well, it's nice and clear. You're doing better than David is. So.
Yeah, well, I won't get up and move. I've learnt the lesson.
Good. Hi, Nicole.
$400 laptop that's 5 years old and garbage Wi-Fi, that's shared amongst like 100 people is not exactly a recipe for great food,
Exactly. Yeah, we've got lucky. We've only got about 8 people on board at the moment. We've usually got about 40 on board, and with the internet is when everybody's on board, it's a bit of a nightmare. So yeah, lousy internet is lousy.
Yep.
Nice. So what are you guys all up to today? What are you doing?
I was going to be crying deeply about my, critique session earlier, weeping for a few hours, but other than that, nothing.
Aw, it's okay. We don't mind that you failed miserably. That was totally on you. It was, it's just part one. We're teaching the lesson that failure is a part of success. That's all. And to come prepared to JLark.
Yeah, that was the thing right there. I was like, yeah, I think I've done everything. I didn't even double check. It's just in my head I had it done. So I was like, yeah, Jess, I'm ready. And then you're like, oh, yeah, you've also got this.
Well, the funny thing is that the way we set up your level 19, I wanted proof that you had set up all your blog posts, but the video was the only thing that we were actually critiquing for points to pass you.
Yeah.
So. That's okay. I appreciate the impromptu. You handled it like a champ, though, so it's
yeah.
Nicole, I love Nicole, I love the Alexia Sinclair and the glowing post that you put up in the group. I love her. I love her.
Too. Like I said, if she's going to become a master for the higher levels, I am like hoping to God she chooses me, because I'd love to just pick her brain, since I like to do all of the crafty stuff too.
Yep.
I just don't have the funds to create those types of shoots right now. So it's like the body painting is the closest thing I can get to that right now, because it costs me very little money to body paint.
You'd be surprised. It's more, you either have to have money or have creativity, because I gotta tell you, this shoot I have coming up in a couple of weeks, it was easily a $4,000 to $6,000 shoot, and I think we've spent maybe $400 total on the whole thing. I'm really excited. I haven't talked to anybody about this, but this is just in the Arcanum, so I can. So basically what we're doing, we were out yesterday. We have an entire setup of tables, and originally I just wanted like tea sets. It was going to be sort of like a Mad Hatter tea party meets Marie Antoinette thing, but you know me, I can't do anything small. So now all of the tables are elevated, so they're all floating tables, and so they get progressively higher, and we have the two models at the tallest table, which is like 12 feet in the air, and I have a confectionery artist that's actually making all of these really beautiful like cakes and sugar flowers and cookies, and there's so much decadence. It's like you're gonna get diabetes just from osmosis being close to these tables. I'm really excited about it. And so we did the gown repurpose, and it's insane how many people had to come in and work on this project to pull all these elements together. So, and then we were looking and we were trying to figure out where to shoot it, and we were originally considering a couple of locations, but there's so much prep and work to set up the sets that we decided it was better to just do it on the property here. And I was going to do it in the gardens, but I really wanted to have a woodsy feel, and the most woodsy part of my yard is where the pond is. So now the tallest table is actually over the water in the pond too. So, but we figured that way if they fell in the water and not on the ground, so that's helpful. So we're kind of like making it up as we go, but like the biggest thing that we're having issues with right now is that not only do we have to get all the tables level, because originally we were gonna suspend them and hang them and build like A-frames or hang them from like really strong tree branches, but we need them to also hold somewhere between 50 and 250 pounds of china and food, and then we need them level and sturdy enough that they're not going to topple over and send thousands of dollars worth of antique china crashing to the ground. So it's very perilous. No pressure.
But the china will fall in the lake, so you can just send divers down later for it.
Well, I'm hoping if they all fall, they'll just like float.
Keep shooting.
Yeah. Oh, I will. You know, and that's the thing. Like, I will. I told my husband that too, because one of the models is my daughter, and I was like, listen, you got to be there to catch her, because if she goes, I'm shooting it the whole way down, because that may end up being the shot of her falling. Because how cool would that be? I'm like, it'll look great visually. Her arm will heal if she breaks it. She's only falling 12 feet. It won't be too bad. Things I can get away with my kids that I can't do with other kids. No, except for now, like, I'm on recorded video saying that I'll break my daughter's arm for a photo shoot. So when I lose custody of my kids, that was probably why.
So Jess, just so you know, I'm recording this, and I think we should rethink my critique earlier.
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit there with your crappy laptop. Did you say you wanted to go back to level 1? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, you heard that right.
We don't negotiate with terrorists. So yeah, so it's been super fun, but a lot of it was just a lot of prep and a lot of patience, Nick. Like, you'd be surprised what you can find at Goodwill and secondhand and my mom's attic, and you know, Craigslist and stuff like that. So when I first started, and I had first started my studio and stuff and didn't have a lot of disposable income, I would set a certain amount that was play money. So like out of every shoot, $50 went into a little mason jar. That was my spending money for any kind of props or wardrobe or anything else I wanted to buy. You'd be surprised how fast that starts to add up. I'm really excited for when you get to the point, Nicole, that you're like, money ain't a thing. Let's do this shoot, because you are going to create some stellar, epic work.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to get a sewing machine again, because I did 6 semesters worth of fashion studies in high school. So I don't tell people I sew because I don't want them asking me to create them stuff, but I have no issues sewing for myself. So
Nice.
I'm like just waiting to get to be able to afford to get a sewing machine, to have the space to put a sewing machine in, so that I can start making dresses and stuff for my own shoots. Because I can make corsets. I can make corsets and stuff. So
I have a sewing machine, but I'm really, really bad with it. And I would be willing to trade said sewing machine for sewing jobs that you just said you didn't want people asking you to do.
Yeah, I was about 2 months away from going to costume design school in Red Deer. And then I decided I wanted to go into hair instead.
Nice. You really are kind of a jack of all trades with all that. I appreciate it. Hi, Kyle.
Hey, what's up? What's this for? I was just driving in the car with Danielle. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, Danielle.
And I saw you guys were doing a hangout, so I jumped in.
We really missed you, and we were like, let's do a hangout, because Kyle will probably jump on, and then he'll be recorded, so we'll have to stay.
Awesome.
Just to be polite. So really, it's just to celebrate you.
Well, then I'm glad I came on.
I know. It would have been really awkward if you didn't. We were like, hey, it's the Kyle hangout. Where's Kyle? No, it's just I haven't been in to do critiques, and the one week that I did, Google hated me, so I figured while it was working that I would just hop in and say hello and check in with everyone, see how everybody's doing.
Very cool.
Some of you are proteges, some of you are apprentices, some of you are hanging out in the level 20 lounge. Just it's free for all. It's Q&A, bring an image, bring some advice, whatever you want.
Cool.
What's new and wonderful in the world of Kyle?
The biggest thing is, I've never done this before in my life, but I coughed so much that I pulled a muscle in my rib cage, and now it hurts all the time. So
I am so excited to add this hangout to the library.
That's exciting. Well, actually,
Word to the wise, nobody reveal anything.
Right. No, actually, the one exciting thing is I just posted my level 18 images for my level 19 critique, and that's scheduled with Scott for Tuesday. So hopefully I'll be joining the other level 20 lounge folks next week.
Nice. Good. How are you doing in the path of the protege, too? When do we get to add you up?
Doing well. I'm halfway. I have a halfway created cohort. I'm just hanging out by myself in there, and yeah, hopefully in the next couple days I'll be finishing that up and looking for some people to come and give me some feedback. So.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah. So how about the rest? I think I have, with the exception of Michael, I think you guys are all proteges. How are you guys doing?
I think I'm just about done with 7, so I'm looking to start writing my Meet the Master video.
I'm on the master video.
Nicole, I am just dying to see yours because you were such a perfectionist. How much are you hating every step of this?
Not
right
even
now?
that. I was talking to John and Dave one day, and I'm like, how weird would it be if I stuck heavy metal music in my Meet the Master video?
That would be awesome, and I fully approve, and you would get instant pass just for that.
Well, I'm like, my video alone, considering that all of my behind-the-scenes shots are of naked women being body painted,
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to have an issue finding students.
I don't either. I don't know if they'll be the right students, but it'll definitely be a draw.
Make sure
I
you
saw
have
that you've had
work
some trouble with that
and
recently on video calls in the middle of the night, Jessica.
Oh my God. It's, I don't get them often because most people don't cross that line, but every
Yeah.
now and then I do. And I usually, they're usually not even from this country. Like, I don't know if they just don't pay attention, but,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
know. It's so
yeah, it
weird.
was like 4 o'clock in the I was so tired. It woke me up and it was 4 o'clock in the morning. I didn't even realize it was like a FaceTime, like a video call. So I put my phone to my face. Like, I answered the video call and they were like looking at nothing because I'm like, hello, what? And they're like, you're so beautiful. I want to see your face. And I was like, who is this? And I'm like pulling the phone away to try to figure it out. And it's like 18 numbers. And I like had no idea who it was. But when somebody FaceTime calls you, it adds their email to the ID. So I looked up the email too. And it's some guy. I found him on Facebook, but it's some guy I've never talked to. We're not friends. He's not following my pages. I have no idea how he found me, let alone got my number. And he's like, you show me your boobs. And I was like, oh. I'm like, are you kidding? At 4 a.m. I won't even show them to my husband. Go away.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, like, I had it happen before, and this guy called me, like, every day for 3 weeks, and you can't just block a phone call like you can email. So, but it's one of those things where, like, what if the next guy is, like, in the same town that I am? Like, because my studio is on the same property as my home, and my kids are riding up and down the driveway on their bikes. Like, so it does become, like, a little bit of back and forth because some people are just freaking nuts.
Yeah.
You can block
But
phone
more, I was more just annoyed that he called me at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
Like, but I have the whole wall of shame for that, so that's always fun too. Because I actually do enjoy just insulting them. It's like, it helps me get out my aggression. It's why I'm so friendly when I'm on Hangouts with normal people, because I just take it out on them.
Well, I actually got to run because we're at the store, but it's good checking in with you guys. Hope you guys have a good hangout. I'll see what I missed later.
All right, bye, Kyle. Bye, Daniel.
See ya. Bye. Bye.
Yeah, Jess, you can block phone numbers on your cell phone.
I can't. How do you do that?
You save it as a contact, and then you go into your address book and you click block it. Because I have lovely me. I ended up with a stalker in Toronto, and
I would stalk you if I was in Toronto.
Yeah.
I understand the appeal.
2 months in, I ended up with a stalker that was older than my dad. I was like, wow, you have a son my age. That's just weird.
Yeah.
But he started sending me weird emails and phone messages and stuff, so I blocked him on my phone, and I've been blocking him on my emails and social network still. Every few months I still get a weird message from him.
Well, listen, David would really like it if you would unblock him at some point in the future, and I understand your pain. He's paying me to pick up his calls, so I can't block him yet, but as soon as he hits level 20, man, he's gone.
She says that, but she's the one that failed me today, so she knows she loves it. She wants me to stick around.
I mean, the abuse is appealing. So, there's only one you, David. I can get new apprentices, but there's only one you.
It's true. Thank God.
I don't know that I meant it as a compliment, but it is true.
It's okay. I get to put up with him for 2.5 days.
I know you guys are getting ready to go out in a couple of weeks to London. How excited are you?
Super excited.
Very excited. Nicole's actually
Iceland too, right?
In Iceland first.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so looking forward. Send me pictures. Make me really
super happy. I don't have to take any of my gear.
No? Are you renting gear when you get out there, or?
So, the Olympus rep here in Edmonton, he found out I was going to Iceland in London, and he asked if I wanted to take a bunch of Olympus gear with me.
Nice.
I was like, free gear? Of course I do.
Yeah, right? So is he mailing it out there for you so it'll just be there when you get
lives
there?
in Montreal, but because I still work for McBain, right, part-time, so he's going to mail it to me at the store, and then he's giving me, like, the EM5 Mark II, so I'll be able to do, like, 40-megapixel landscape photos in Iceland, and then, like, I think 4 lenses.
Nice.
Yeah, I just got to return them.
You should be a really good fellow apprentice slash protege and make an introduction for David to him too. But not until David passes his level 19.
So good. Martin's already taken advantage of that friend of mine. So
Nice. That's awesome. You know what though? I love when people, that's one of my favorite things is to be able to take other talented people I know and put them in contact with good companies and people, because it really, like, I would put you in front of any of my sponsors right now, Nicole, and be like, see this work? This girl, she's friends with me. It's okay. I got the hookup. I can introduce you, and you could have some of her artwork on some of your stuff. You know, because it really is, like, sponsorships are really beneficial and they sell a lot more, because when you get to a certain point and people are following and they fall in love with your work, they will buy that lens or use that company just because somebody that they really love and admire says it's what they use, which is the benefit. And free gear for you and free products are always super awesome too. So it can be really, really beneficial.
I would really like a Sigma 50 mil art.
I do have, you drop me a line after, because I do have a contact over at Sigma that I could put you in touch with.
Okay. I get my full frame next month because well, Nikon put on a huge employee pricing discount, so it's actually they're giving me an additional $600 off of my normal employee pricing. So
That's awesome.
So that puts the camera at half the price that regular people pay for it, for a D750.
All right, I need you to work at Canon next. You know, when you're ready to work for a real camera company, and then
No,
you do that. Canon doesn't do spiffs. They don't do any incentives for employees.
That's because they already know their stuff is better and they don't need to.
I'm not going to
know.
that.
I mean, really, I'm a Canon girl because I walked into the camera store on a Tuesday and the Canon guy was behind the lens. If I'd gone in on Wednesday, it would have been the Nikon guy, and I would have bought a Nikon first. It's Coke and Pepsi. But I have been hearing a lot of really good things about Sony lately. And I know that Trey's pretty fond of them too, and my friend Alan just was showing off his online the other day. He just got a little gift kit from Sony as well, so I'm really thinking about it, especially because they have the adapters now, so I wouldn't have to change my glass, because once you get established, that's the hardest thing. Like, switching camera bodies is nothing. It's switching all of the lenses and the glassware that the real, you know, investment. Like right now, I'd have, you know, $15,000 worth of equipment that would be null and void if I switched camera bodies, unless they can adapt. So that's been my biggest headache.
Yeah.
Especially with the Reliquarian, because I was looking at the video that you posted from Sinclair, and like I've never done prints that big, and that's what I'm looking for, because all my clients buy boxes. Like I do the Fineo image boxes, so the largest print size that anybody really gets is like 11 by 14. When I shot weddings, occasionally I would have one or two that would buy like a big like 20 by 30 matted and framed wall print, but now we're talking like, you know, 4 by 6 feet and larger, and I haven't done that before, so I'm really interested to get one done and see how the 5D2 really handles it when it's that kind of close-up detail and sharpness. But I think it's going to be time to upgrade. And I'm not a gearhead either, so I really don't know what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
Speaking of troublemakers,
I was a toss-up. D750 or D810.
yeah.
Faster
5D3 is the right answer.
Megapixels. I don't know. It's a tough call. Do you go for the faster camera or the camera with the most detail?
See, it's different for me now because this is the first time I've had to really consider that. because, you know, 98% of the people that see my work see it online, which will probably still be the case, but I'm putting a lot more stock into what the final print images look like, because I've never been like a fine art photographer, so I've never worried about how it looks on a gallery wall. So I'm really curious. And I guess, you know, aside from the camera, I need to also start thinking about printers and who I'm going to use to do that, or if I'm going to self-print too. Are any of you guys gearheads? Because I'm not at all.
I've become one since I started working at the camera store.
Yeah, I have a feeling that would have that effect.
Yeah.
How about you, Bob? Are you a gearhead? Your whole cohort's based around tech, right?
Yeah. So I've got my camera turned off because I'm sitting in a very severe backlit situation. So
Yeah, I noticed.
my silhouette, which is a little ominous. Hey, John.
Hey, how are you?
So I got
Protective
my
custody.
fourth apprentice accepted today.
Nice. That's awesome.
How
How are
many?
you feeling?
I want a few more to try to get a good flow going.
Okay.
But I watched Curtis's video this morning.
Hang on a second. I have a package coming I got to sign for.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't.
Yeah, I watched Curtis's video this morning, and he highlighted one of the apprentices one of the applicants I've been courting. He used that person as an example, so I went ahead and sent him an invitation to lock him out.
Nice. That's awesome. So, how are you feeling? This is your first week with apprentices, yeah?
Yeah, I'm seeing two that are interacting very promptly. The other two need a little nudging, I think. I'm also in Ron's Sphere 2, so I've got two Arcanum type things keeping me busy.
I bet.
Yeah.
There's a couple of teachers that I want to study under too, but you know, teaching is a full-time job in itself, so I'm excited this year to take on the role of student officially as well in the Arcanum, and study under.
The Arcanum cannot support a master and apprentice in one body.
It's tough. It's a big commitment. I think a lot of us, the nice thing is that once we get into the master realm, because we're talking to the other masters, that because most of us know how much time and energy is demanding of being a master, that will be a little more accommodating if there's slow growth, as long as it's not stalling out.
Well, I was talking about the technology. The Arcanum software does not recognize an apprentice and a master in one body.
No, they don't.
So,
and I know
I'm
that's
officially not in Ron's cohort, even though I'm in his Google Plus community.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing when we first started. Even though I was teaching Sphere 0 and 1, I was hanging out a lot in a couple of different cohorts and doing assignments and stuff, and it was just kind of an unofficial level up. I think that's something, because really they didn't really want masters that were teaching 0 and 20 to really be studying under and putting that, especially just starting out, because we want you guys to focus on teaching and on that experience. So I think that's more going to be like a Sphere 3, Sphere 4 kind of thing, where you're going to start to see a lot of the masters that are at the foundation levels in Sphere 2 start to study higher up. So I don't think it's as much of a priority with the technology thing to have us be able to be in a cohort as an apprentice and run in a cohort as a master.
Right.
So. All right. Well, I wanted to hop in case anybody had anything that they were going through that I could help with, or just wanted to banter a little bit, but I'm talked out, so you guys have 5 minutes to start me on a new topic, otherwise I'm ending the call. No pressure.
Hey, Jess.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that going to work now? Because I know that several Path of the Protege people have received and accepted Sphere 2 invitations. So how's that going to work within the Arcanum when they become masters? if they're already in there as an apprentice?
They'll pull you as an apprentice. Priority will be given to your role as master. So once you graduate the path of the protege and you have your Vanguard meeting and they go, yes, you're a master, they will give you a cohort and put you in as a master. And then if you want to stay in and keep training under them, you can. Because really, like, the entire interface right now is pretty much on G+. We do all our Hangouts via Google. Our communities are Google-based. The Arcanum is really sort of just a rite of passage, and it's becoming more prominent as they roll out the new features and have different things, but it's not essential. It's just an official level up. Like right now I have John running the Aurora cohort for my Sphere 0, and he has absolute power to say, yes, you're ready to level up and move to the next level, and you can do this and that. So he can do everything I can do. And then as I see him give permission, I can just go in as the master and officially level them up to the next level in the Arcanum database. But aside from that, you don't really need it in order to have the Arcanum experience, because that's all based in the community and the Hangouts. So it'll probably just be more of an unofficial thing, and then, you know, Robin or Ron or any of the other masters that are moving up to Sphere 2 can just go in and talk to the higher-ups and go, look, Lisa completed everything she was supposed to do for Sphere 2. She's ready to be a Sphere 3 or a Sphere 2 master and move up to level 30, and then they'll just level you up, because they can still change and put you at whatever. You know, I could go in and jump you up to a level 30 master right now.
Okay.
So
I'm wondering, too,
so
would it maybe work, too, if, say, I mean, I'm not ready to do I want to get through the path and all that before I do a Sphere 2, but would maybe doing a separate G+ account to do a Sphere 2 and to have kind of like two different things going in the Arcanum, would that work? Or just, you know, just leave it as it is? I guess it doesn't really matter.
It really doesn't. I mean, that's definitely something you can do if it's really important to you to be able to have like the real-time level up. If it's important to you to know that when you complete, you know, level 23, that the Arcanum immediately registers you as a, you know, level 23 master, then you could probably do that, and that might be something that they look at. But for now, I don't really see it as too much of a priority. You know, I think if they start Sphere 2, a lot of the people that are going into Sphere 2 and will be doing that will be also increasing on the stones on the path of the protege without starting their actual cohort. My personal advice would be for everyone, ideally, you're supposed to start the path of the protege in line with the 0 levels. So level 20, level 30, level 40, and it's supposed to coincide with whatever sphere you're in to run simultaneously, so that you graduate whatever the end of that sphere is, level 20, level 30, and then you finish your 10th stone and you can start. If you're asking me personally, I think that especially just starting out as a new master, I would recommend you take 3 to 6 months off and just focus on getting your cohort up and running. Yep. Because the rest of it's there. You can always go back and you can train. And most of the masters, you can just drop a line and say, hey, I really love what you're doing with your cohort. I'd like to sit in and watch, you know, as a potential master, or, you know, I'd like to really come in and train as an apprentice too and do the actual level guides. And most of them will let you do that. I was sitting in on 5 or 6 different houses for a bunch of different reasons. And, you know, Cliff Bass, who I actually really admire as an artist, dropped me a line and said, hey, can I come complete some of the levels in your house? Yeah, absolutely. You know, I picked up Miss Aniela's cohort because I knew what was going on, because I was sitting in her cohort, you know, and sort of observing from the standpoint of apprentice, because I love her work. So,
Cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious because, yeah, I saw that, you know, there was a lot of, you know, invitations going out, and I did get invited to bronze, but I had already decided before they even opened Sphere 2 that I was going to focus on the path and worry about Sphere 2, you know, down the line, you know, after all that's, you know, humming along. You know, we don't need to burden, well, I don't need to burden myself with too much stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need to try to juggle too much. You know, we'll do it down the line. But I just I was just curious as to how that worked within the Arcanum.
Yeah, you know, it's something that they're working on, but it's also not necessarily a priority. I think if you want to study under Ron or Robin or any of the others, that you can do that and they'll keep track of it, and then they'll probably just level you up at the end of it. But it's definitely something that they're looking to remedy soon. It's just as they're rolling out Sphere 2, you know, the time and the money goes to wherever the priority is, and right now our priority is putting in other masters that we think, you know, continue to uphold the qualities and the potency of the Arcanum, which is why all you guys are in it.
Awesome.
Curtis said it was going to be several months before they got that resolved from a technology standpoint.
Yeah, there's so much other stuff. We haven't even, you know, one of the biggest things that they need to resolve right now is, you know, being able to accept debit cards. We've had a lot of apprentices that want to be active and they only accept certain credit cards. So the payment structure has to change. Like, there are real-time issues that they have to take care of first. And I know they're doing a huge rollout. They're starting to release Sphere 2 because people have been sitting at level 20 waiting to move to the next phase. And they didn't want to move all of us up until they had the next generation to open the doors essentially to the Arcanum, because if you guys don't get them to level 20, there's nobody for us to pick up at level 20.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I would say Ron has been very supportive of me as far as my time demands are concerned, and with regards to the Sphere 2 cohort. So he doesn't expect me to move along as fast as anybody else or anything else, just to participate and involve.
Yeah, I love Ron. I would totally hang out in his cohort for a while.
Just I had a question about how many masters are there now that are actually teaching levels?
You know what? I don't actually know the answer to that off the top of my head. I think that I'm pretty sure that it's a safe bet that there's at least 40 active cohorts. Some of us run 2 or more houses. I know Mason has 2, and Lori Rubin has 2, and so I'm pretty sure Ron is going to run Sphere 0, 1, and now Sphere 2 as well. So it depends on how you want to break it down and divide it, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was. I was curious about that.
Yeah.
How many people will actually still be teaching Sphere 0 and 1, as opposed to just waiting for the more advanced people to start teaching Sphere 2? Because I didn't know if there were a lot of people on the fast track for becoming a master, or it was all going to be out of the pool of the pathway to the protege. I know Bob, I think, is the only one who's actually gone through it successfully yet before, so I was just curious whether.
Yeah, it's going to be both. I'm pretty sure there are exceptions. Like, you know, Nicole and I have been talking about Alexia Sinclair. She's on the list for potential masters. So is Jeremy Coart. And, you know, they have other people that they're reaching out to. Like, I think that I may have seen Peter Hurley's name on the list as well. So they have certain people that are larger draws and are so busy that there's no way that they could commit the time to run a Sphere 0 and 1 cohort, because it's a lot of time. That's 4 critique levels with a full cohort of 20 people. That's 20 hours every level. That's a Sphere level, which means you're looking at, 160 hours total just in critiques. Like, you know, the path of the protege, it's not easy, but it's also a really good indicator for whether or not you're going to be up for running a full cohort, because it just depends on how you break it down. A lot of masters don't like to do more than 1 or 2 meetings in a day because they get burnt out. I do it so that I only have to do my hair and makeup once a week. That's why I run like 8 or 10 of them in a day. You know, but with my schedule, it's just easier for me to set aside a day than find an hour here or there. So, you know, part of it is just finding your flow there. But ideally, I think they want, regardless of whether you're on the master fast track or the path of the protege, they want most of us to run a Sphere 1 and 0 cohort first and kind of get our feet wet, and then move up to Sphere 2. They're going to be very slow to unroll Sphere 2, and part of that is that we're still at the beginning phase. You know, there's only, I think we're still less than 30 people at level 20 right now. So if a full cohort is even 10 people, we could only have 3 masters up there running full cohorts, you know?
Yeah.
So it's going to take some time.
Yeah, I would just
Hi,
like to see,
David.
hey, David. I would like to see, I saw one of the comments on Bob New Apprentices where they were like, I forgot that I even applied. It's been so long since I applied, and I'm just like, oh, from a business model, I'm like, oh, we got to get these people to get through the ones that are in the that had applied a long time ago.
Yes and no. It's both. Yes, we want to be able to cater to everyone that's applying, but at the same time, this is not a community college. You know, part of the uniqueness of the Arcanum is that you're picked for your talent and you're picked for your personality and you're picked for your potential. Not everybody gets in. You know, we think of it more like an Ivy League school. It's also one of the only institutions where the teachers pick the students. You know, there's no criteria that guarantees you entry into the Arcanum, let alone a specific master's cohort. It's a feeling. And, you know, I mean, Bob, you're going through this right now. Like, talk a little bit about you know, the process and how you're actually picking your apprentices and what's coming into it.
Well, prior to Curtis's video this morning, I was picking them wrong.
How so?
Well, I was sending out pre-invitation emails, and I did. I guess I did harvest a couple people that route, but then I got a lot of non-responses to that, and I tried to decide how ethically bound am I to preserve slots for these people if they haven't even bothered to respond. So I'm giving them 5 or 6 days to at least reply to my email. But now I looked at Curtis's video, and I'm starting to pick people based on their application date for the last login. I want to see if they're active and have expressed interest.
Mm-hmm.
I actually picked up 2 more today about that.
Yeah. So it's really, you know, I picked all of you. I didn't care what your experience level was. I didn't look at most of your portfolios. I picked you solely based on what you wrote and the passion that I felt from you. I looked for people that were alive, you know, and that was what I wanted to be able to pull it together. So I picked mine based on the artist, not the artistry. And it just depends. Certain people will filter the results and only pick people that are in the genre of photography they want to focus on. One of the masters runs an all-female cohort and focuses a lot on what it is to be a female in the industry of photography. Others, you know, they take into account age ranges and feeling like they can relate more to people their own age, or, you know, not wanting 20-year-olds out of high school or college, or on the other hand, wanting younger, more energetic people that are looking to make this a career as opposed to people that may be doing this as more of a hobby. So those are all things to kind of take into consideration. You know, another thing to consider is timing and location. A couple of the masters picked all their apprentices within, you know, 30 to 50 miles of themselves, and instead of doing online hangouts, they've had a couple of events that they've just invited all their apprentices to actually show up to. You know, like, John, you could do that if I had an event because you're right down the street. You know, Nicole, not so much. We couldn't even get her into the country without, you know, risking getting arrested and deported. You know, and Mike is joining us on a call from the middle of the ocean on a rig somewhere. So, you know, I think we're up to 18 different countries that hail from JLark, and it's always an issue trying to find, you know, hangout times because of the time zone differences, and trying to find a time that works for us that it's not 4 o'clock in the morning for someone. So those are all things to take into consideration. I know that we want to get more efficient with the apprentices and being able to get them into cohorts quicker so that they're not sitting because we don't have enough masters. But even if we had a 1-to-1 ratio, which, you know, I don't think we'll ever get to, because the more we grow, the more the base and the, you know, the knowledge of the Arcanum will grow. Like, we haven't done a lot of marketing at all. right now. People are just finding us through, you know, like organic means of communication, hearing about us. But, you know, even if we had a 1-to-1 ratio, not every apprentice would get picked, because masters are, you know, we should sit. You don't want to invest your time in anyone that you're going to spend more time and energy on them than they are on themselves. You know, you guys, my cohort especially knows that. Like, I ask a lot of you guys all the time. I am tough love all the time, and I don't really care about your feelings. And I've been getting that today. You know, I failed David at a level 19. I think he's the first apprentice ever in the Arcanum to fail a critique level, ever. Which is funny because the higher ups keep yelling at me too that I take too long to move people through. But, you know, I'm concerned with your growth, not your goal meeting. You know, and it's not a negative thing. Like, he doesn't take it bad or take it as a failure, because he knows that the idea is to accomplish what he's setting out to do and to close the distance between where he is and where he wants to be, not just to pass level 19. It's bigger than that. You know, but I did Tom's Hangout, and, you know, we talked for a few minutes after we ended the online broadcast, and he's like, and I was like, you know, you did really well, and I was talking to him about some of his growth and paying him, you know, a very well-deserved compliment, and he's like, you're being so nice, and I don't really know what to do with it right now, so if you could just say something really harsh or mean, it would make me feel a lot better. Like, so, all things to consider, and I think that's one of the things that the Path of the Protege is going to have to work on a little bit with you guys with critiques. It's not about the images. It's really not. You can give them a lot of insight and you know, advice on how to take better photographs, but really your goal as a protege is to see where they are and where they want to be. And it is not to chart the course for them. You are not the map and the path, okay? We're not MapQuest. We're a compass. We show them north so that they can plot their own course and they can figure out where they want to be. Our job is to show them how to find their path, not to help them down ours. And that's, you know, that's a labor of love to be able to do that, and it requires a lot of personal connection with your people. So it's totally fine for some of the masters to start out with 5 apprentices or 3 apprentices or 10 apprentices. You know, they actually recommend that you start out with just a couple to begin with and then add as you go on so that you can build that relationship, because significant learning and growth does not happen without a significant relationship. You know, which is why I spend a lot of one-on-one time. Like, that's the other thing. They recommend that your, you know, level 4 critique with your apprentices be, you know, 20 to 30 minutes, and they shorten the amount of images that you have to bring, and they change the level to make it a little less intimidating. All of mine are still an hour, but, you know, it's probably 10, 15 minutes of critique with the images. The rest of it is really just getting to know the people and know what they're about and know what they're trying to do, because I can't help them get there if I don't know where there is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I think that's actually part of the interesting part about this. I mean, if it gets to the point where I have my own cohort, I'm looking forward to getting to meet and interact with these people, not just look at their photos. Like, so many people have so many different opinions in terms of a critique and the images, as opposed to, like you said, getting to know somebody. So I think that's a good point.
Yeah. That's really, and, you know, it's really rewarding. Like, it's to the point, and I love being an artist. I don't think I'll ever put my camera down, but it's to the point now that I got to tell you, there's something really amazing about sitting down with someone like Lars at level 4, when he's like, I'm just kind of starting, I don't know what I'm doing. His images, they were good for where he was, but where he was at the beginning of a journey. And then him go at level 4 and go, my dream is to one day have a gallery show with my work on the walls. And then we sit down at level 14 and we're picking his images for the gallery show, because we were able to take that path that seemed like a dream, you know, and go, well, here's all the steps on how to get there. Because that's really all it is just helping them plot the course. And I got to tell you, like, one of my favorite days in the Arcanum was the day that Lars posted the little cell phone video sprawling around of his gallery show and his opening program and his images on the walls. because that was a huge, that's what he came in and said, if I could accomplish anything, that's what I would like to do. And he did that in 20 levels, not even 20, in 15 levels. You know, you're going to start to see your people be able to do that, you know, and you, because of their interaction with you, you get to help them realize the things that they thought were dreams and live them. And that's really, really gratifying. Like, I celebrate each of your successes as much as I do my own. I get just as excited about them. You know, I'm thrilled that David, as much as I failed him and gave him a hard time this morning, like, he's getting ready to do an entire world tour all over everywhere that he wants to go see and take pictures of, and like, and he's committed. He just sold his Jeep. You know, Nicole dropped everything, quit her job, moved across the country, and bought a studio. Like, it's amazing to see what everyone is capable of, and it's not because I'm a great master or I teach them. It's more just an awakening of your own potential. And sometimes you just need somebody else to see that in order to help you see it yourself, you know? And when we talk about what we're looking for in proteges and potential masters, that's what we're telling the masters to look for. So if you got an invite to join the path of the protege, it's because we saw the ability for you to be able to awaken those same things and close those distances between dreams just as much. And we don't take it lightly. Anybody that got invited in. There are hundreds of you. There are thousands of you that you got picked from to be an apprentice, and there are hundreds of you that you got picked from again to be able to be a master. You know, I hope that you guys have a lot of pride in that, because we do. So, except for John, he just weaseled his way in there somewhere.
Poor John, we always pick on him.
Trust me, it's
can take it.
Trust, no different than when I'm used to it.
So, all right. Is there anything you guys are dealing with in the art world, in the arcanum, in life, anything that I can help you with that you need advice? Michael's defending you, dude. He's seeing that on the side there, John. He's like, leave him alone. I need him.
Yeah, that was great. I saw it pop up. Thank you very much, Mike.
John's in charge of your cohort, too, so he can award karma points, too. I would be giving them away like candy right now if I was him and you were defending me. 100 points! 100 points for Michael.
That's a little too much, but I'm making notes of who gets points. Can I take them?
I'll accept 50. I'm all fine at the moment. I've well, with all my troubles at the moment, I haven't even been able to pick up my camera for about 2 or 3 weeks. So, which is a bit of is bugging the hell out of me. But as Jess has had her problems, I've had mine with my house splitting in half. It's not been fun. So I think this week home I've got a mountain of work I've got to do, coming straight off night shift and start digging. So yeah.
No fun.
After that, I haven't got anything to add. It's been great just catching up with all you guys, and that's about it.
When are you off the rig and home to put your house back together?
Monday, but then I've got 2 days training down in Sale to do as well, so I won't get home until Wednesday night, and I've got workmen coming on Thursday morning, and then I've got to come back down to the rigs on Tuesday and do more training before I come back out to work in 4 nights' time.
Isn't it fun?
Oh, yeah. No.
Price of Sleeping Dreams. You know what, though? Like, my grandfather used to say all the time, it's a bad day, not a bad life. Sometimes it's just a bad week or a bad month. I feel it.
Yeah, so. At least we're on the right side of the daisies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's all that matters. And have a bit of fun along the way.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Hi, David. How are you? You're just lurking.
Well, let me I had to turn my mic on. Yeah, I'm kind of lurking. I'm listening in to hear what I saw a couple of your critiques today, and I saw something pop up that you had this hangout, and I thought I'd listen in. I'm what I call currently a cohort homeless person.
Okay. Are you a level 20 graduate?
No, I'm a level 12.
Okay.
But I reached a point where I decided that I needed to make a change. So I've updated my profile and kind of sitting out there waiting.
Ah, are you looking to join a new house?
Yes.
You want to come join House Lark? I just graduated 3 of my people, and I'm feeling really sad. I need some new blood.
Hey, I'm trying to build one.
Oh, yeah, that's true. All right, Bob. What are we going to do? Are we going to, like, arm wrestle for him?
Have a bidding war.
Bidding war. All right. All right, well, this is really good. Bob, let's...
I guess I would ask a question is how would masters look at somebody coming in like me, and what would obviously there's a relationship that has to be established and an understanding, and how would you go about doing that with somebody who is at the place I am in the levels?
Well, I'm surprised that they dropped you back into the antechamber. Usually I've had a couple of people. Actually, John came to me from another cohort at level 5, I think. And it wasn't, it wasn't because of any kind of, negativity with the other cohort. I just was a better fit for him. And same thing, I had Brian Weiss and 1 or 2 other apprentices that moved from my cohort because they were landscape focused or something else, and they just felt that they would get better a better experience out of a different master. So really, I guess the question is, what is it that you're looking for in a cohort and a master?
Primarily, I do landscape and nature, usually close-up nature. I do a little bit of portraiture, but that's more related to, are you familiar with Jeremy Cowart?
Mm-hmm.
I do a help portrait event every year, so my portraiture is pretty much just dedicated to that. So I'm looking for a strong landscape focus, and very specifically, I am not a good post-processor. I'd like to get better, but I care a lot about in-camera composition. And so I'm looking at someone who's much more interested in the capture first and the post-processing second.
Okay. So with the art, what is the ideal scenario for you coming into the Arcanum? Are you looking primarily for artistic growth, or is this something you're looking to do full-time and you're also looking for business and marketing sway and someone to direct you there? What's the priority for you?
That's a good question. I am retired, and I don't want anybody having to tell me what I'm going to shoot and how I'm going to make my images. So I do not intend to be a professional photographer. Plus, I don't need it. I shoot for enjoyment. So I'm primarily a real interest of mine is doing landscapes of a very specific look. I often describe it as either the Hudson River School look, that very specific light that you see in those images, and also I'm kind of playing around with how I could do a Currier and Ives kind of imagery, a little bit. I spend most of the year in Vermont, and I have a little bit of that old Americana interest in what I would like to do. So, does that help?
Yeah. Are you looking to just be able to create better art because you enjoy doing it, or are you looking to be well known? Do you want people to be like, oh my gosh, I know that, I just saw that, that's got to be like a David image,
Yeah.
or are you looking to sell it as fine art? What's the end goal?
The end goal is to create a really good image for me.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, we all like to get on the whatever it is and get the likes and whatever, but I don't need to be famous. What I really want is no matter who looks at the shot, they are immediately captured by it. That they look at that and say, that's a nice image. That's all I really want. And if that's only one person who says that, that's all I care about.
Okay.
Or nobody says it.
My advice to you would be to be proactive with it, being that you're already at level 12. I would actually, are you in the Artist Atrium community?
Yes. Although
so
I would tell you that I've been lurking there for about a month, and
okay.
only today have I posted anything in the atrium.
Okay. So I would actually just put a call out saying, look, I focus mostly in landscape. I didn't feel like I was in the right house to be able to further, my studies with where I'm looking to go visually in proficiency. I'm more interested in being able to capture it in camera, but I'm also interested in, being able to perfect my retouching and post-processing skills. I'm looking for a master to pick me up that is landscape focused on these things, because that really helps. Because most of us have a couple of vacancies in our cohort at any given time, whether people are switching cohorts or, today I'll have 3 people eligible for level 20, and that'll open as soon as they come in. They open up to be able to go to another cohort, to Sphere 2. So that puts 3 empty spaces in mine to be able to pick up new people. Monica just topped in. She's another one that's sitting at level 19.
Hello.
As soon as she passes level 19 later today, she'll be eligible for level 20. So she's not in my cohort anymore. So that's an empty spot. So chances are that if you put it out there, somebody that is teaching what you're looking to learn will go, oh, he's perfect candidate, and they'll drop you a message. Because don't forget, there are literally thousands of you sitting in the antechamber right now waiting to get picked up. So it's a needle in a haystack to find the right people. Like, I spend hours in there every time I do invites, just going through and debating, and it's really tough to pick who gets to come. I have a couple of landscapers in my cohort, but most of them, it's because they have a very specific thing. Like, David really wanted to do this 3 to 5 year world tour to go photograph all of the most amazing natural existing forms, and he wanted me to help him get to the point that he could start that path, which he is in June. I am not the person to teach you how to be a better landscape photographer, because I shoot mostly naked women. But, so it just depends on what your goals are, as a thing. But I think that if you put in the artist atrium that you were looking for one, the other apprentices that are studying under them will be able to tell you, you're looking for so and so. That's exactly what my cohort focuses on. And they can +1 their master and go, hey, do you want to, add David to our group, kind of thing. But, put it out there. Don't just lurk.
Okay, well, I wasn't sure about the etiquette of all that, so
no, it's fine, especially when you do it as a sort of a general public announcement of, hey, I'm looking for a home, kind of thing. I don't think that you'll go more than another week without one. It's perfectly fine for you to reach out, and it's perfectly fine. Like, John dropped me a line. He just dropped me a message and was like, hey, I love my cohort, I love my master, but I feel like I would get more out of it if I was studying under yours. And then it's just a matter of us talking back and forth, and within 2 days, we had him moved over. He's still a trader. He goes into the other cohort all the time and chats with them, and he's like a dual agent, and keeps those relationships. But that's also totally fine. Like a lot of my other apprentices that moved on to different cohorts to focus, like Brian really wanted to focus on landscape too. I'm not a landscape photographer. So when he said I want to focus on the art and the technical aspects and be able to do that, we had reached the end of where I was able to help him. So he moved over. But there's everybody that's a master is very low ego. That's like rule number one for the masters is like, there's no place for ego. Nobody's territorial. There's no bad blood with anyone if you say you don't want to be in that cohort anymore. Like, we just want to give you the best experience. And it may be that we see something amazing in you and pick you up and you get a couple of levels out of us, but 12 levels may have been where you reach the end of where that particular master was able to push you forward. So it's perfectly fine for you to reach out either specifically if you have someone in mind and go, look, I'm really looking to get picked up and I would love to be in your cohort. The worst thing they're going to say is no, but 98% of the reason that you haven't gotten an invite is probably just because they haven't come across you in the sea of other apprentices looking for a master right now.
I noticed Bob just posted that I wasn't in the antechamber.
That's correct. I don't see you there. And your interests appeal to me in the direction of my cohort, so I would be interested in chatting with you.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
we can do that offline if you want. That'd be fine. Okay.
Well, that's probably exactly why you haven't gotten an invite to a new one then. Are you interested in becoming a master? Have you indicated that in your...
No, I have not.
Okay. Because I do know that a couple of people that didn't come up because they were flagged for potential mastery.
No, I've never indicated that, or has anybody kind of approached me on that? So.
Okay. So I'm really glad that you hopped on then. So probably the first thing that you need to do, and you can chat with Bob a little bit about joining his as well. If you decide that's great, then you and him can probably jump in and handle it. But you would probably want to drop a line to the Arcanum, just info@the-Arcanum or feedback@the-Arcanum, or just plus Curtis and Peter and Trey, like the headmasters, and say, hey, I want to get picked up, but the masters are saying that I can't be found in the antechamber because there's probably a glitch in there that for whatever reason is not showing you as available. And it may be something that you're still, for whatever reason in the database, showing up under whatever the original master you are. Because right now, if anybody looks for Monica, John, or Nicole, nobody can pick them up because, well, Nicole they can because she graduated, but they can't pick them up because they're in my cohort. So they don't show as available for another master to grab right now. So they may just not have that switch.
That clarifies something. I'm no longer in the other cohort in terms of being able to join the community, but I notice when I go into the Arcanum, I'm still listed in that cohort. So
yeah, then that's exactly what the problem is.
And I have sent messages. I've had some conversation through support with both Peter and Tanya.
Okay.
David, I just sent you my pre-invitation text via Google. Yes.
Okay, so Bob, I'm going to put you in charge of his well-being now. So regardless of whether you end up hopping, because that's probably what they'll do. They'll just move you from that cohort over to the new one. Especially, do you know, were you at the original price point when they first started it? Did you apply before that date when it was lower tuition?
Yes.
Then that's probably why they didn't put you back in, because I know when they move you back to the antechamber, you basically forfeit that introductory offer. So they try to move you to another cohort. Exactly. They try to move you to another cohort from the one you're in. So that's probably exactly what the issue was. So talk to Bob and see if that's a good fit for you. If it's not, then I would just drop a note and say, look, I'm not showing up in the antechamber as available for pickup. But really, I wouldn't worry about being in the antechamber. I would do some research on who the right master is. Okay. Bob's doing a lot of tech, and he specifically, having trained him as a protege, he came to the Vanguard and said, you know, I do a lot of it in camera, and you know, he handles a lot of the technical stuff. So it does sound like he's a good fit for you for what you're doing. But but that's on you. That's on you to decide what works. But we'll definitely get you taken care of. And if you're not getting a response or you don't get it taken care of this week, drop me a line, just via Google Chat or whatever, and I'll make sure it gets handled for you.
Well, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Hi, Monica. I muted you. You have to unmute yourself if you're even sitting there. So that's about it. If Monica's good to go, I might jump her up and do 2 o'clock then, since she's home early. So, all right. Does anybody else have anything else they wanted to go over? No. You just love my company and want to hang out and look at each other all day.
I don't get to talk with anyone from Convergence or anything anymore.
I know. Well, you're still in the community.
Yeah, I'm still in the community, but no one's been doing any Hangouts or anything lately, so it's...
Well, you and John have. I've been seeing them all over the place. How have they been going? You guys have been killing it lately. I don't even need to be in my own cohort anymore with you two in there. It's awesome.
I'm getting ready to launch another challenge, I think, this week. Your Auroras is so quiet. I need to, like, kick them a little bit.
Well, to be fair, a lot of them are training, and Michael was in with us for a little bit. He's on a rig in the middle of the ocean half the time, so he goes a good bit of ways between things. But they have been really quiet. I gotta shake them up too.
They were good last time with the last challenge. I think a bunch of them participated, so that was good.
Good. What's the new challenge? I'm excited. What do you got?
I've got 2 thinking about it, and I haven't decided what I'm going to pick, so I'm not sure yet. Hoping I get it.
All right. Monica, darling. Bye, Bob. Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah.
Monica, are you free for the evening? You want to knock out your critique earlier?
No, because now I'm with my son, in fact.
Okay. All right.
He's right beside me. Can you see him? A ver, saluda. And I just jumped in because I wanted to see everyone, but I'm really not available until he's in bed. So I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries. Trust me, I got kids too. So probably I think I set it for 4:15 because mine get off the bus at 4, which is what, 10 your time. So
no problem if you want to do it at 15 minutes later, even. It's not a problem.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm empathizing with you. I do the mom thing too. I totally schedule around the kids all the time.
We have no option. So. We have to do that.
So, it's good.
Okay. It's great to see here, John and Nick, because it's been a while since I last see you guys, and you too, Jessica, of course.
Can we turn off so I can actually show up on the screen, because I look like crap today?
Yeah, let's end the broadcast and.